Hi, my name is Dean Pomerlow and I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and this is a response video to John Kohler. I've been following John for about a year and have taken virtually all of his advice to heart and started my own garden this spring, and I'd like to show you the results, and at the end I have an important question for John. You can see I have two raised beds with hoop houses that John inspired me to build to keep things warm in the winter. This is May 9th, and our last frost date hasn't even arrived yet. It's about May 15th. But as you can see, my two raised beds, they're 4 feet by 10 feet, are growing amazingly well. I'll give you a quick tour, but I started seedlings indoors, and so got a huge head start on the growing process, thanks to John's advice. I loved John's tour of his garden and decided to plant many of the same plants that he's growing in his garden. So I'll give you a quick tour. Oops, sorry about that. This is arugula here. I'm using the square foot gardening method that John recommends, and many others do as well. It's working amazingly well for me. Some of these I don't know what they are, but this is the strawberry spinach John mentioned sometimes, and you can see the little red berries that are already growing on it, and we haven't even reached the last frost date. I love edible weeds, and as John mentioned, dandelions are a great thing to grow, so I've got 2 square feet of dandelions. These are broccoli and sprouting broccoli. You can see all the little sprouts I'm harvesting every day, even flowering, but it keeps coming back after I trim it. This is purple sprouting broccoli, I believe. You can see the purple stems on it, very colorful. Eat your colored greens, as John says. Eat your vegetables of color. John, in one of his videos, mentioned he loved, I think this is Tatso mustard, Asian mustard. Great growing, he said. And so I bought some of the seeds on his advice, and yes, it's growing great for me. Dinosaur kale, John mentioned this as his favorite, and I'm growing a bunch of that as well, along with some great collards. These are just standard Georgia collards. It's probably too cold here to get perennial tree collards from John, so I didn't do those. Actually the 2 seeds I've bought from John are the albino cucumber, Bolivian cucumbers, which are growing well, but inside my greenhouse it's still too cold to put them out. And I also bought his Malabar spinach seeds, and or Malabar spinach seeds, Malabar spinach, and those are also, they're just seedlings now. It'll be a while before those can plant out. More purple sprouting broccoli. I don't even know what this is. Celery, or flat leaf and curly leaf parsley, cilantro, some great chard, Swiss chard here of all different colors, white and red. You can see they're growing really well. You can see the really rich colored stems, pink here and red here. Let's see, these are turnip greens, more brassica family, I don't even know what they are, and a whole 3 squares of mustard greens. I love the spiciness of mustard greens. Then some great leaf lettuce. Look at this. Red leaf, some romaine, and a different variety of red leaf. Look at how great and big these leaves are. Really coming out well. So I attribute part of this to starting everything early, but part of it also is I followed John's advice and used really good quality Mel's Mix soil with amendments like the rock dust, put quite a bit of rock dust in, along with the mycorrhiza microbes, and a lot of worm castings. I do vermiculture. One question for John. John, why don't you do more vermiculture? I know you're big into composting, have all those composters, but why don't you want to work with the worms? They are doing a great job for composting my kitchen wastes. This is a little younger bed, growing some of the same things, the leaf lettuces. This is, I believe, the corn salad that John mentioned as an interesting thing to grow. So I got some of those seeds. Cilantro, more yellow and red and white. Chard, spinach. I know, John, you don't think spinach is all that productive, but mine are growing great. You can see getting some really nice tender spinach leaves. These are turnips, that's probably radishes, and as you can see down here, they're growing great. They're really big. In fact, here's one radish I harvested today. It's almost as big as the palm of my hand. These are just standard, I've forgotten what, breakfast radishes, I guess. But I'm harvesting one a day from these 2 square feet, and we'll be replacing them soon with seedlings that I have started inside. This one is one of my favorites, red leaf sorrel. John also mentioned this one, and it's got beautiful leaves on it, doesn't it? Carrots, I know carrots are cheap in the supermarket, but I figured I'd give them a try, and you can see down here they're growing well. I could probably start harvesting these soon too. I'll let them go a little longer. Some more baby dinosaur kale, romaine lettuce, green leaf, red leaf. I believe these are more turnip greens, and some small fennel. And so that's about it right now. I've got some more seedlings to plant out in the remainder of these squares, but overall things are growing amazingly well. In fact, that brings me to the major question I had for John. So John, here's the big question for you. I'm harvesting a ton from my 2 raised beds every day. In fact, if you look down here, this is 1 day's harvest. It's about 1.5 pounds of salad greens. In fact, if you compare it in size to the standard tub that you get for a 1 pound thing at Costco, it's way more than a pound. And so my question is, I love salad greens. I eat a ton of them. But I'm wondering, I have 2 raised beds that are probably smaller than most of yours, and I believe I've heard you have 17 raised beds plus all those other beds and circular planters you've got. How do you keep up with eating it all? What do you do with all those greens? You say, use them before you lose them, but I'm to the point now where I can barely keep up and eat all of this, even if I put them into green smoothies or juices. So I'm just wondering, what do you do with all the greens that you must be harvesting from your bountiful yard? So this is Dean Pomerleau from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And thanks again, John, for all the great work and great videos you've made over the years. They're a really great resource for hobby gardeners like myself.